This episode of Reasonably Spontaneous Conversations is brought to you in part by In Search of the New Compassionate Male. For more information, go to newcompassionatemale.com.
Lynk.
Hello, Mr. Dennis.
What a pleasure. Thank you for wearing the Tardan Media shirt. I have the mug, and we're all set to be able to do. Thank you so much for joining me today. Clink. On Reasonably Spontaneous Conversation. Jay, I want to set up what we're going to talk about by this wonderful news story that was done on you and your experience that was done in March of 2020. And our director, Renée Yaworsky, would you play that for us, please?
In 2009, Connecticut passed the Move Over Law. Here we are, nearly a decade later, and not everyone is paying attention.
It was a miracle. It really was. There was a reason I was saved.
Jay Lynk is a former roadside technician for AAA. In June of 2017, he pulled over along I-95 in Southport to help another driver.
I called into our dispatch saying I just witnessed a car getting slammed by a tractor trailer.
Lynk's colleague Kevin Smith then showed up in his flatbed shortly after things took a tragic turn.
I then turned to walk to my truck, and I just heard a bang, loud collision, glass break, and I looked and I could see my flatbed coming right at us.
A box truck in the right lane didn't move over, slamming into both AAA vehicles parked on the side of the highway. These are pictures of the aftermath. Mangled metal, debris everywhere. Smith, badly injured, frantically started looking for his coworker, who was pinned underneath the flatbed.
And our trucks, which weigh around 11,000 pounds, was sitting right on his back.
Lynk was rushed to the hospital in horrific shape. His boss at the time preparing for the worst.
They actually came out and said, we don't think he's going to make it.
But in the end, he did survive, emerging with injuries that altered his entire life.
Massive road rash, 11 fractured ribs. I have to wear braces now because I get drop foot. My spine was twisted out. They ended up putting a rod all the way up my back.
He uses a wheelchair and walker to get around. It can be a challenge learning how to walk again. His recovery ongoing.
It's still progress in going forward. It's been tough.
The Move Over Law requires drivers to slow down or change lanes if they see an emergency vehicle on the side of the road with flashing lights, or any vehicle for that matter.
You see that emergency vehicle over there, you got to understand that if you're going by at 65 miles an hour and you're about 2 feet away from that emergency vehicle, that's very dangerous.
State police know about this too well. In recent years, their cars have been hit, people not moving over, and then this happens, putting multiple lives in danger.
And if you don't move over when you are on the highway, it will cost you. Keep in mind, the fine is $181.
News 8's able to see in real time how people react to those flashing lights on 95 in West Haven. Some moved over right away. Those that couldn't slowed down. Others zipping right by, coming within feet of the cruiser.
We all have to go home at the end of the shift, and we all have families, and we ask people to kind of remember that when we're out there doing our jobs.
As he fights through recovery, Lynk wants to make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else.
You don't know who's pulled over on the side of the road. You could put them in this situation or kill them. Hey, put the phones down, put everything down, pay attention to driving. You see somebody on the side of the road, move over to the left.
Reporting from Beacon Falls, Brian Spiros, News 8.
Jay, that was in 2020, in March of 2020. When did the accident happen?
June 16, 2017.
Because I've noticed, I notice a difference between your a difference in your continued growth and healing since the time you did that interview? Can you notice that yourself?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, every day I push myself further and more and more and more. Yeah.
It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary to hear. So what I want to ask you is that can you sum up Jay Lynk and your mindset before this happened, before 2017, and just a sense of who was this guy?
Oh, before the accident,
Yeah.
I am actually the same person I was back then.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a helper, a giver, a hard worker, big builder, fix things, this and that. I was the guy that people would call, hey, could you come and help me with this? Oh yeah, I got you.
And you had an enormous amount of, physical acuity, because I saw you like on the pizza. I mean, that eye-to-hand coordination is extraordinary. The pizza cutting, which I recommend anyone to be able to see.
I still have all my fingers.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, up and down ladders, walking across roofs, doing roofing. I used to be able to do everything.
Yeah.
And even now, I mean, even with my situation now,
Yep.
I try to do things beyond belief.
Yeah. And you do that, but the thing that I find interesting is that how much of our life and the quality of our life depends upon our attitude. How did that get instilled in you? Because your attitude and your attitude of helping and supporting and all the people that you're supporting in the world as part of your process, because this continues and continues to grow. So where did that attitude get set in?
I think once I got out of rehab and all that,
Mm-hmm.
I needed to do something. And the easiest thing I could do is help everybody else around me. Excuse me. And, I was going to therapy. And even then, I was helping other people while I was going through therapy and whatnot. And then COVID came in.
Yeah.
And now we were stuck at home. And at that point, I was like on the internet. And all of a sudden, I found all these artists, whether it be singers, dancers or artists, actual painters and whatnot. I was like, this is a way I can make a difference in somebody else's life in just by paying it forward.
That is, and were you feeling that reciprocal as people, you began to see artists to be able to help and support, and then you're getting a chance to be able to feel that and to be part of that process.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's the thing. Every time I touched one artist, I would get introduced to another one. And it was just like a big old chain.
That's wonderful.
Even some of the artists, I would send them gift cards that they could give out to their viewers and bring in more viewers.
And touching so many people, when you were looking at, okay, I can go out and I can climb that roof and help one person, but now in this process, I'm seeing you be able to spread your influence in much greater ways.
Right, and that's an important thing. Paying it forward, helping somebody else, even somebody on the side of the road. I mean, I will literally pull over and hand them a gift card. If I see them pushing a cart of bottles or something, I'll do that. Somebody comes up to my car when I'm sitting there in a traffic jam, I'll hand one. Whatever you could do to help and make a difference in somebody else's life.
Yep.
That's it.
Has it been hard for you to be able to accept help?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Can you talk about that journey and talk about, because there is as much of a learning and accepting help as there is in offering help in our human soul journey?
I'm one of those people that will be presented by a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And I may not be able to do it the first time, but I will try it 3 times, maybe 4 times sometimes. And then if it comes to a point where it's like, I got to ask, then I got to reach out. Even though I'm in a wheelchair, walker, and whatnot, I don't use my handicap against me.
Mm-hmm.
I use it to build me. I may not do things the same way you do, but I will come to the same result.
Do you see the I'm trying to figure out how to say this in a way that is cogent. Have you been able to look at the blessings of what happened to you that are beyond what you would have known before it happened?
I'm not sure what you mean, but
just to be able to say, here are the places where I've grown. Here are the places where I've grown that is different than I would have had I not had this challenge.
Well, and like I said in the recording on that commercial,
mm-hmm.
They gave me a 28% chance of life. And after seeing everything I've been through, I should have been dead. But for some reason, there was a different plan for me to be here now. And that's why I don't give up. I'll do what I can do. I'm here for a reason.
And what is your rehab like now? Because in the progress that you're seeing, what does a day look like that you work with your physical therapy?
With COVID, there was no more physical therapy or anything. And now in my house now, I actually have a gym set up. So I have all kinds of weights and
mm-hmm.
and that is my physical therapy now.
Cool. And then in connecting with people, so do you get a chance to see the musicians and spend time on in their shows and that? What is your process of entertainment?
I just go to their shows. I mean, I love entertainment.
Yeah.
And some of the singers are amazing. And the artists, watching them do what they do right in front of us, it's amazing. And again, that's why if there's a way I can help them, I reach out to them and I help them out.
So having this connection and being able to be part of the connected space. I mean, when I was growing up, of course, there was no internet. I mean, were you guys internet and tech savvy when you were growing up? You were talking about how you told me right before the show that you grew up in a family of 6 at your integral family with your 7 with your brothers and sisters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So were you guys tech savvy? Was that part of the process as you were growing up? What year were you born?
67.
67. Okay, I was born in 48. All right, so 67 through those young years. What were those years like with your brothers and sisters?
The funny thing about that is I was the guy that would take their calculators and their watches, take them apart to find out how they worked. But I'll put them back together and they'll still work.
Oh, see, I could never do that. If I could take it apart, but then it was just basically trash.
Yeah. So
did you have an engineering mind? I mean, you were able to see how things work
absolutely.
Together, and
even now, in my house, if I need something done, I could already envision exactly what it's going to look like when it's done, and people understand that.
That is an amazing. I mean, that's an amazing. So, what kind of projects do you have right now that you're working on in your home? What kind of inventions are you cooking up?
No inventions. But it's the house I just bought. It's a single level, and I can't do it with a camera because I'm on the laptop.
Yeah.
But I actually had to build a ramp in here,
mm-hmm.
and rather than hire somebody, I had a friend over and we built it together. But all from up here because I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
But I'm always building things. We had a shed outside that pulls the filter for the pool. We actually split that shed in half and turned half of it into a changing room now. Ramps outside I built. There's always something going on.
Yeah.
I push. Yeah. You got to keep that brain going.
Oh, that's the whole thing. I mean, it's so important. The stimulation that I have in my mind, I have to keep that going. At 73, it's so important for me to be able to make sure that I'm nurturing and nourishing my brain and nourishing and nurturing my body to the
Exactly.
best of my ability. And that's what are you, when you are looking out at people, at the challenges that we have right now in both in our world and that, are you seeing the opportunity? One of the things that I'm seeing is that you're modeling that helping one another and making sure that we're all in it, that we're in this place together. We're on this little marble out here at the edge of the galaxy, the Milky Way. Let's behave like we're all in this together.
Absolutely. And in fact, after I was released from rehab, there was a local family next town over. They were in a pretty bad car accident. Their 3 sons were in the back, and one of them got injured. He ended up being a patient at Gaylord Rehab, where I had gotten my physical therapy. So I took a day out. I went to Gaylord to visit him and let him know, everything you've been through now, don't give up. And you'll be able to do just what I'm doing now with the walker and this and that. And now he's gone over and beyond. He is an athlete in high school. God bless that kid. Yep. So you got to give hope.
Exactly. So much of what we're doing is if we can share that hope with one another, we can expand it. It expands it so much. It's like if I focus on the negative grows. If I focus on the positive grows. And this is much more than just positive thinking. This is an idea of my attitude and how I'm going forward.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
How do you get back? When you get discouraged, how do you come back from that to realign yourself?
Honest to gosh, through all these years that it's been now, I've never really been discouraged because I'm always that cup half full, always.
Yeah.
Don't ever let that empty out. So it's been hard. I really don't go. I mean, I have my tiny little dark moments, but I'll figure out. It just comes out of it. It's like a 5-10 minute thing.
Yeah.
There's always something on the other end to stop it from happening.
Was this innate in you, or was it something that was instilled in your family and growing up? Was there a person, your father or brothers that helped to encourage this? Where'd that come from?
I think, and I'm pretty sure, growing up, I didn't grow up, all elegant and this and that. With 7 kids and a single mom, we grew up with almost nothing. So I think deep inside, we were always like, I'm never going to go down to the bottom of that ladder. If I go down that far, I'm going to go up one more run. I'm not going to go back to,
God, that thank you. Thank you for that, because that is something because I have to remind myself of that, especially when I get down, just to remind myself, because I'm like you. Not like you in the sense of that I'm wired optimistic. So I know that's a fortune for me to be able to look at things as a positive way. So I do bounce back faster than some people, than many other people, dear friends that I've had. Your opportunity, though, is to continue to be able to look up at the opportunity whenever there's a challenge that comes around.
Absolutely. I will find one.
Yeah.
I do
Are,
find them.
so where are you? What kinds of things are you looking at in the future, Jay? What kinds of opportunities do you see that you want to, or mountains you want to climb?
Climb a mountain.
There you go.
No. um, well, it's not the end. I have a pool, and I use my pool now for physical therapy as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to figure out a way to invest in like a nonprofit something or something
Mm-hmm.
where I can actually go even further than the way I am now. So I'm going to look into that. I just moved into my house about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So I'm planning on doing all that next year because the house was a big thing and getting everything done here and settled, and I'll
You
figure
know,
something out.
the are you able to accept the love and appreciation for all the people that you've touched? I mean, you can sit down. We get artist after artist that sits there and goes, "What a difference you've made in their lives." And can you feel that? Can you feel and experience that, Jay?
I do. Absolutely do. There's a lot of messenger going on where the artists get back to me and expressing how thankful they are. And you know what? And that's part of it. With me giving to them, they're giving something back to me as well.
Isn't it true?
Yeah.
That's I'm
Dennis, could we go to one quick break so I go use the restroom?
absolutely,
All right.
absolutely.
I'll be right back.
Why don't you do that, and I'll get an opportunity
All
to
right.
be able to say how grateful I am, how grateful, Renee. I'm so grateful that you brought Jay onto the network, and for all the work that you've done to make this network possible. To be able to do through your operation and your indomitable time that you spend, the heart that you bring, the brains that you bring, because this network exists because of you as my partner, knowing that we have an opportunity to do something that makes a difference in people's lives. And we're able to do in our way some of the things that Jay is able to do where we can make the Tardan Media Network a fan-centric, fantastic place where fans can connect and meet and learn and grow and laugh and cry. This is such an opportunity. And because you came into my life and because you have worked so hard and so diligently, this is why this is happening. And I will cheers to you. For all the fans that are going to say, Renee lifted her cup inside in the director's chair as she's running the show today. So just let you know that we clink glasses like we did with Jay, and that is our opportunity. And we're my gratitude for everyone for getting an opportunity to be able to be here with us. The work that's being done all around, the artists that are coming together that allow us to spend time on reasonably spontaneous conversation on our shows, Be Positive, on the R&D Cafe, which is Renee and I's our flagship show, Be Positive, which is talking about the brighter side of life and our challenges and growth, and at the same time, our opportunity to have Diane and all that are there. How about that? I was able to talk, and Renee nod at me if I was coherent. Okay, I was coherent while you were gone. I was actually achieved coherence.
There you go.
And your it seems like that the COVID times, we had some lessons that we learned from those times. What did you learn about yourself during these time during 2020, and how are you coming out of that time?
Well, the biggest thing for me was actually turn on the computer and finding these websites with these artists. It filled a lot of my time. I'm a single guy, so it's like, all right, what are we going to do today? So, you know what? I found these artists.
Yeah.
And there are some phenomenal people out there.
Isn't it the truth? We wouldn't have known, or do you have particular genre that you like? Do you like certain, what's on your playlist when you do music?
I'm very open to music. Country, rock, oldies, love my oldies.
Mhm.
There's really nothing I don't listen to. Because even before the accident, when I was able to go out and whatnot, I was big on karaoke. I used to love singing. So, but again, with COVID, with the accident, with a walker or a wheelchair, it's not feasible to go to some of these places anymore
Yeah.
because sometimes there's no room for. Yeah, I don't like using that word handicap, but
Right.
with injuries and whatnot.
Exactly.
I actually did go to a restaurant once. I've never been back. We had gone there for dinner. Excuse me. I had to use the restroom, and I was with my walker, and they had the extra chairs that weren't getting used. They had them stacked up right in front of the bathroom door, so the door would only open like a foot and a half. So we actually called over a waitress. She started yelling at me. I was like, "Wow, no, I left right then and there. I've never been back."
You, this idea of adaptability and being able to adapt so that everyone has access. How does it look? How has that changed your perception as you have negotiated the world
A lot,
from a walker?
a lot. I was a guy that would always go to friends' houses and whatnot. But now, when I talk to them about going to their house, I actually come up with questions. Are there any stairs to go up? Is it level? Is it gravel? Is it downhill, uphill? So there's a lot that goes through my mind before I can actually go to their houses.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my real good friends, he's usually here with his family. He has two little ones. They live in a smaller house, but he invites me up to his house. And I've learned to get over his stairs and whatnot. And then when you have the kids, you got the playpen. So now you really have to rethink everything. It's amazing what the mind, yeah.
That's extraordinary. So and so does this play into your engineering so that you can see how engineering so that other people can benefit from the kinds of thoughts that you're having?
Right. And that's the thing is I am a thinker. And I rethink and think of things and this and that. And yeah, I mean, there's so many issues out there that can be corrected somehow.
Mm-hmm.
That but you just don't know what road to take to do these things.
Well, that's what we're learning, right? I mean, to be able to see that's what the life is all about. I mean, how could you
Right.
have known the kind of growth that you had when you were laying in the hospital? How long before you came fully conscious to be able to say, "Okay, what's going on here?"
Honestly, I was in the hospital itself for a month. I have zero recollection of that because of the medications and whatnot.
Exactly.
And then I was in Gaylord Rehab here for a month and a half. And even after I got released, it probably wasn't for another, 6 months after being home that everything just really started to click.
Ah.
Yeah.
And that's when it started, and that's when it started, and so that was part of the acceptance process, is be able to say, okay, my life is different. My life is different, and now we're going to go ahead and move ahead with that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've had my challenges myself. I mean, I had to go out and get a handicap thing for parking, even driving. When I had first gotten out of Gaylord, I wanted to drive again. I love to drive.
Yeah.
And I had to go to Easter Seals so they could approve me driving. They wanted me to get that car with the controls and everything around the steering wheel. I was like, no, not me. So I had to go through classes. And even now, I still wear the braces on my feet.
Got it.
Yeah. It's because I have a drop foot. On the base, on the inside of the shoe, there's a thin metal type thing. So when I push down, it automatically flexes my foot back up. So with physical therapy, I learned to use my foot, gas, brake, everything. So now my car is just a regular car. And Easter Seals signed off saying, wow, first time we're giving somebody with braces. Yeah.
Oh, man, congratulations.
But again, it's here.
It is, isn't it? I mean, this is where the mind-body connection, it's fascinating to me to see how you will watch yourself grow. And watch yourself, and do you set benchmarks for yourself? Do you say, like,
every day? Every day. Even, I live alone. So believe it or not, people are like, Jay, how did you do that? Because I'll get to go down in part of the house here, I put in one of those chair lifts that go down the steps, and I'll be loading boxes in my lap, going down the stairs, putting it on the floor, getting into the wheelchair down there, picking that box up into the wheelchair with me and putting it away. Like, why don't you just call for help?
Yeah.
That's why. If I can do it, why bother somebody?
Exactly. And I mean, do you look at it as some challenges in being able to say, okay, I overcame this. I was able to find a workaround to be able to do this?
Absolutely. The leaf, we just went through the leaves where the leaves blew all over. With the walker, I can't use a blower because you're holding on to a walker. So I said, how can I do this? So I ended up getting a backpack blower where I could actually strap it to the back of my wheelchair and do my leaves.
So, do you allow the blower to push you along? And
no, I want
almost like a jet engine.
Right, exactly. I want to get a strong one and one on either side. That would be funny. Yeah.
I just see you shooting. I just have this image of just you shooting across the screen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. My neighbors think I'm nuts because they see me out there doing these things. They're like, God bless this guy. But again, it's up here. It's that will to go forward. You can't you can't lose yourself.
Yeah.
You can't.
Oh, Jay, thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to meet with you today. And because the thing is that we have had so many people on the network that were deeply interested in getting a chance both to meet you and to spend some time with you, because this is the differences that you have made in other people's lives and how you inspire to be able to say, okay, well, I'm gonna play the hand I'm dealt, and I'm gonna play it the best I can. Are you familiar with duplicate bridge?
No.
In duplicate bridge, bridge game, what they do is they deal out the hands and they put them in racks, so everybody in the entire tournament plays the same cards. So that even if you only have like no aces or whether or not you have all, it doesn't matter. It's how well you play the hand.
Perfect.
Play the damn hand that you're dealt.
Exactly.
And play it the best that you possibly can.
Right? You could take that deck and just throw them away and give up. You can't.
No.
I mean,
No, you can't.
I'm too young.
And you help me to know I can't. And this is the thing about your inspiration, Jay, is because you are getting an opportunity to be able to inspire me and the rest of the world through your example. Every great teaching is always by example. So that by you sitting there going back and getting back in there and putting those extra pounds on and saying, okay, I'm going to do a few reps here and be able to
Right.
or I'm going to build something there. That's the thing that is going to be able to do it. Thank you, man. I am deeply inspired by you, and know that any opportunity for us to collaborate in the future, I'm going to be like so in. So thank you for giving me the time today. See you again. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. This is Jay Lynk. And
thanks, everybody.
See you next time.
Ciao.
This episode of Reasonably Spontaneous Conversations has been brought to you in part by In Search of the New Compassionate Male. For more information, go to newcompassionatemale.com.